It was supposed to be just one night, one borrowed uniform, one borrowed name badge, one quiet shift behind the marble desk of the city's most expensive hotel, but for Aisha, it felt heavier, like fate had leaned in close and whispered, "Pay attention." She had agreed to cover for her cousin at the last minute, hands still smelling faintly of detergent from her daytime job, hair tied back with more hope than confidence, telling herself she would smile, check guests in, and disappear before dawn. The lobby glowed with gold and glass, chandeliers catching reflections of rain that streaked down the towering windows, and every footstep echoed like a question she wasn't sure she could answer. She had barely settled into the chair when the door slid open and the air changed. Cold rain rushed in, followed by a man who looked carved out of resolve and stormlight, tall, broad-shouldered, suit darkened by rain, eyes carrying the weight of decisions that bent markets and moved lives. He didn't rush, he walked as if the world waited for him, and yet there was a quiet tiredness in the way his shoulders lowered when he reached the desk. Aisha felt her pulse jump, then scolded herself, professional, she reminded her heart, just a guest. She greeted him, voice steady despite the tremor inside, and asked for his name. He gave it simply, no titles, no flash, like someone used to being recognized without trying. As she typed, the system lagged, the cursor blinking like it enjoyed suspense, and for a breath they were stuck in that small human pause where eyes meet and stories begin to guess at each other. He noticed the smudge of ink on her finger, the way she squared her shoulders when the screen froze, the patience she offered the moment with a soft apology that didn't beg for forgiveness. "Take your time," he said, voice low, calm, the kind of calm built from weathering worse storms. When the reservation finally loaded, she realized the suite he'd booked cost more than her annual salary, and the thought could have shrunk her, but it didn't. Instead, she surprised herself by meeting his gaze with dignity intact, handing over the key card like it weighed nothing at all. The elevator doors closed behind him, but not before he turned and nodded, a small acknowledgement that lingered longer than it should have. The night unfolded in quiet waves, late arrivals, soft phone calls, the hum of the city, but Aisha kept replaying that moment, not because he was rich or striking, but because he had seen her, really seen her, as if she were not temporary, not filling in, not invisible. Near midnight, the rain grew louder, thunder rolling like applause from the sky, and the men returned to the desk, jacket off now, sleeves rolled, asking for tea, not room service, just tea, the way someone asked when they wanted conversation more than comfort. She offered the staff lounge kettle, breaking a rule she didn't even know she was breaking, and they stood there in the soft steam and ticking clock, talking about nothing and everything, about cities that never slept, about choices made too early and dreams postponed too long, about how life had a habit of disguising turning points as inconveniences. He listened more than he spoke, and when he did speak, it wasn't about money or power but about responsibility, about the loneliness of being decisive when everyone wanted a piece of you. Aisha told him, without drama, that she wanted to study again, that she loved languages, that she believed kindness was a kind of intelligence the world kept underestimating. He smiled then, not the polished smile of boardrooms, but a real one that crinkled at the corners, and said, "The world doesn't underestimate it, it relies on it." Before leaving, he thanked her for the tea and for the conversation, and she laughed, embarrassed, saying it was nothing, just a shift. "Nothing," he repeated, thoughtful, as if testing the word. Morning came fast, the sky rinsed clean, and Aisha finished the shift with sore feet and a lighter chest, returning the uniform, stepping back into her ordinary life with the sense that something had been quietly rearranged. Weeks passed. She forgot the exact shade of his eyes, the cadence of his voice, until an envelope arrived, thick paper, her name written carefully. Inside was a letter, brief and sincere, thanking her for reminding him that presence mattered more than position, and an invitation, not a handout, not a promise, but an opportunity, a scholarship fund he had recently launched for people who worked while they dreamed, along with an interview request that respected her agency and her time. Aisha sat on her bed and cried, not because of the money, but because someone had recognized her effort without pity. She took the interview, earned her place, and months later, when she walked back into that same hotel, not as staff, not as a guest, but as herself, confident and becoming, she understood the truth of that night. Destiny doesn't always arrive with fireworks, sometimes it checks in quietly, asks for tea, and waits to see how you treat it. And if this story moved you, if you believe small moments can change big lives, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because stories like this remind us that opportunity often hides in plain sight, and the next one might be waiting just beyond the doors you open today.